I've just seen Weapons. It is Zach Krieger or Krieger. It looks like Krieger, but it probably is pronounced Krieger. His second movie. He's on my radar now. I went and watched Barbarian because Weapons looked cool, and I wanted to see the previous movie he made. And Barbarian was good. And I'm gonna go into spoilers, so I really this is not a movie that like you can really get this movie fucked up by knowing too much about it. So I'll just say I haven't seen a ton of movies this year. I haven't seen like Sinners, which I know a lot of people's their like favorite movie this year. I've seen like 5 movies. This is probably my favorite movie I've seen that's came out this year, though. So it was a great movie, and I'd recommend seeing it without really having too much information. If you like Barbarian, you'll like this. This movie does the same thing that happens in Barbarian, where there's different perspectives a lot, but this time it's getting split in like 6 different chapters, and you run down like all these different characters, and they kind of leave you with cliffhangers while also tying together, and it all culminates in like a final climactic area. First story part, we're gonna section it off. Just go one by one. I'll say whether I like it or not, which ones I prefer. Justine, this is Julia Garner. I thought her chapter was good. It's important. She is like the lead, if there is one, even though it is spread out a lot. There are like 2 main characters, Justine and then Archer, who I'll discuss next. But as for Justine, I thought it was a good scenario, and she isn't like typical horror movie, like doesn't have a lot of depth. Justine can kind of be a jerk. Sometimes the way she speaks to people, specifically Paul, can come across a little rude. But also, you empathize with her. With the situation that happens, everyone thinks she's like a fucking witch or something because it's her classroom that happened to get everyone despawned and sent somewhere else. And she doesn't know why the fuck it happened. She had nothing to do with it. She's trying to figure it out herself. And there is some moments where, like, Justine's doing something that I'm like, you kind of seem like a psycho here, Justine. But it's never to the point where I can't understand why she would do it, considering what has happened. So I think Justine's storyline works. It got me to like the character. I think Julia Garner's great in this movie. She has some freak out yelling moments earlier on. And great opening character. And then we go to Archer. I thought Archer's was a little slower, but it did a good job of building me to like him. Like again, same thing with Justine. He'll do things that might seem a little weird, but I mean, he's a father. His son, it was a part of the classroom that disappeared. So there's grace for characters to act a little wacky or not going to police or doing taking things into their own hands because he is going to the police actually, but he's doing his own man on a mission type thing at points. Now I might have the order a little wrong here. I think after Archer we go to Paul, and this is where it really starts to. No, in the Archer's part you get a little mix of matching, but I think with the cop character Paul, it really hits its stride because then you're seeing like his perspective on conversations he was having with Justine, or what leads into that conversation, and that I really liked how intertwined it all felt. And like usually when this can happen, a problem can be like we're doing the same thing again and it's not hitting as much. But I thought it was intertwined well, and it provides more context. Paul's kind of a psycho cop, gets a little unhinged, punches a kid. Dash cam off type cop, I guess, is how I describe Paul. He's got his own issues. And a complaint people could have is that Paul and the next character you go to, I think his name was Andy, the drug addict character. Paul and then Andy, you could complain that their sections were not important to the overall story because it all leads up into this final battle in a house. Paul and Andy are just there to kind of hold back Justine and Archer, and they get killed. So like, there's not too much development there with them. It's their parts lead into a certain thing, and then they're killed. But I would argue those are like the most entertaining parts of the fucking movie. That is so good, especially Andy. I'm gonna skip over Paul's. I thought it was good, but Andy's was so much fucking. Andy might be the best part. It was like watching Jesse Pinkman in like season 2 when he's at his kind of happy-go-lucky drug addict vibe and not as depressing. That's what it felt like watching Andy. This dude, I think he was actually the asshole brother in The Walking Dead. the one that blew out Carl's eye. It's that actor. He did a great job of playing a drug addict. He was so good. Not that I'd know. The villain in this movie is also great. We'll get to her, but I thought the drug addict part was worth it just because how entertaining it was to watch it. It's not like the most crucial for the story or plot, but the entertainment value alone, I think I would not want a second cut of that section. In the final two sections, you go with Marcus and Alex. Alex is the one kid from the classroom who didn't get disappeared, and Marcus, I believe, is like the president of the school. President. Principal. Bit of an idiot, sorry. But in this section, you're learning a lot about how this whole thing is happening and involves the great aunt, Gladys Lily, who comes to visit Alex's parents' house. And she'd be doing some weird shit. I guess the way I could explain, I could do a demonstration here. Again, big spoilers here. If you're watching this and you haven't watched the movie, you fucked up. I'm sorry. Cigarettes. So you grab my cigarettes, a very personal thing for me. And then you would put that, mix it in a little bowl. And then you, with some of your own blood, you wrap it around this weird magic thorn thing. And then, if you have a target, you cut their hair. You put the hair around it, then you like do some snap theme, and I will have been mind bashed or controlled. Then I do my little weapons walk, and I go fight them and kill them. So you become like, I think Archer's character describes it as like a heat-seeking missile to go fight that person. And that's what it is. You can also be laid in storage. That's where the kids are. They're just waiting their deployment. They're just in the basement like, I don't think they actually have their position like that. I think that's the running position. They're kind of just chilling like this. But they need to be fed and everything. The Alex character was holding all this information because Gladys was threatening to kill his parents. So there's a little bit of like, how is Gladys this slick that she was able to get around just having all these people pull up? And like, what was she doing before then to not get caught this quick? That's a little bit in my mind. I think that's a little bit of an issue that it's hard to really buy how successful she was previously or how this was ever able to go on for any amount of time. But we don't really know her backstory at all. But the whole gimmick of her getting control of people, I liked. She's a great villain. She's like weird, creepy, but sweet at times. She's got the whole demeanor of just like goofy villains. You never are always on edge. You're just waiting to see what they'll do. And then the fucking ending. Gladys showed Alex how it worked as a threat, so he used that to get Gladys clapped by her own kids. And there's a bit of, like, I was thinking about this. Like, okay, well now Alex has control over them. How do they get free? Because we saw them get free. We saw, like, Archer's character was taken under control. He got free after Gladys died. But what about these kids? Does Alex have to die to freedom? How does that work? It kind of explains it as like some of them are even learning how to talk, like as if the more it's not used, maybe the connection fades or whatever with the kids. It's unexplained. It doesn't really need to be, but that's just something I've been thinking about. Like, are these kids just not able to ever do anything? Like having a stroke pretty much? I don't know. But it's a good movie. I would say it's barbarian, but probably weird, but a little less weird, funnier, and not as scary. I think it goes... Now, it's not like it's not these other things. I would say it's funnier than Barbarian, not as scary, not as weird, but it doesn't have to be as weird. I think like the movie, one thing it does a great job of, if you're never lost, all the weird things that are happening, it explains it in a quick fashion so you can pick up on it, and sometimes it'll even show it to you twice, like how that whole magic fucking thing works. It does that 2 times, I believe. Well, 3 if you're counting the final time, but it's easy to pick up on how this world operates and what's going on. It only wants you lost when you're trying to solve the mystery. Wait, there's one more thing I want to do. Headache scale. Now, I do have a headache still. I watched it about 3 hours ago. Still got a headache, but Superman was 24 hours later. So my scale on the headache right now is, I was thinking 4 when I was driving back, but now I'm at a 5 because it's like the same or just as bad, maybe even a little worse in time. So the headache is a 5 out of 10. But I do want to say, this is how fucked my brain is. When I was watching the movie, I was thinking about, hey, I might not get a bad headache with this one because it's not loud. It's actually a very quiet movie at times, especially early on. There's a lot of quiet moments. Um, like it'll literally be silent in the theater. Like it was nice, and there was a couple phone. Do I want to review theater? Everyone always has their phone out at least once. Not me, but I'm saying in a theater, there's always one prick that brings a phone out, and that did happen. Just how this world operates now. No one has so damn respect. But I'm getting sidetracked. Headache meter, 5 out of 10. Pretty solid, average headache, but it wasn't loud. So I'm trying to decipher why I get these headaches because this wasn't really a loud movie. Superman, I know why I got a headache. It was loud. This movie wasn't that loud. And I was getting a headache before any like super loud things were happening. Okay. That's it. Goodbye.